Good morning, guys, and happy Friday. I want to talk with you in this video about some major updates over at chartexchange.com on the FTD reporting. You guys are probably familiar with seeing these tables in tweets and different videos. Many people refer to this website because it has a nice, clean, easy to read table that you can look up by ticker symbol, and they will screenshot it and put it in a social media post or a video. Before we talk about the very important changes that Chart Exchange made, let's recap what this FTD data is, where it comes from, how often we get it, and how people often misunderstand it accidentally or purposely misrepresent the data to you. The data that chartexchange.com is reporting on that very nice, easy to read table comes from the SEC website. It is published twice a month according to the schedule here on the screen. I'll put a link to that schedule and the actual data source on the SEC website in the video description if you want to go read these documents for yourself. I want to read these couple of sentences here from the SEC and then show you what they mean on the chart exchange tables, because man, there are so many people over the last 3 years I've seen that misinterpret the FTD data, and misinterpreting that data, whether you're doing it yourself accidentally or following someone who doesn't know how to present the data properly, is going to lead you into making some bad trades. The SEC tells us here in yellow, the fails to deliver on a given day are cumulative number of all fails outstanding until that day, plus new fails that occur that day, minus fails that settle that day. The FTD number is not a daily amount of fails, but a combined figure that includes both new fails on the reporting day as well as existing fails. In other words, the numbers reflect aggregate fails as of a specific point in time and may have little or no relationship to yesterday's aggregate fails. Thus, it is important to note that the age of fails cannot be determined by looking at these numbers. And a little bit further down, they tell us, please note that fails to deliver can occur for a number of reasons on both long and short sales. Therefore, FTDs are not necessarily the result of short selling and are not evidence of abusive short selling or naked short selling. All right, that was a lot of gobbledygook legalese type wording. What does it mean? What the SEC is trying to explain to us in a somewhat complicated way, if you're not careful in reading, is that there is one daily failure to deliver number. I have it highlighted in the red box here on the top left of the screen. That is the failure to deliver number for GameStop on that particular date. I just picked a random screenshot that I had saved here. There are previous numbers that are higher and lower on previous dates. And then way off to the far right, you can see the FTD change, where new fails happened or fails were resolved on a daily basis. So every day we get a new number. And at the end of the reporting date, we get the final number for that cycle. So on 5/30/2024, the total fails for GameStop were 9,629. Under no circumstance would we ever add up everything in that column. Another thing that you'll notice if you look carefully at the dates here in the screenshot that I have, May 22nd, May 23rd, May 27th, May 29th, they're all missing. And I see a lot of people on social media saying, why is the data missing? The SEC does tell us right here on their website that if the aggregate net balance of shares that failed to be delivered is 0, then no record will be present in the file for that date. So that is why we often see dates with no data. To their credit, this week, chartexchange.com, knowing that a lot of people screenshot their data and have questions about it, has made 2 huge improvements to facilitate more accurate reporting. Number one, we see this tweet from them on October 17th. It says, we've updated our FTD page to include days with 0 reported FTDs. So now instead of having no entry in the table like we just saw on the previous screen, you have the date, but it shows a 0. Maybe that will clear up some of the confusion, although I'm already seeing people saying it says 0 and I don't believe it. Guys, if you don't believe the data, don't watch my channel, because I can't help you if you're making trading decisions saying you don't believe any of the data out there. In fact, I'd probably recommend that you don't invest in stocks. if you're not willing to use data. The second and maybe more important change that they made today is taking that far right-hand column called FTD Change and moving it all the way over to the left. I'm going to show you what that looks like. One example of why this change from Chart Exchange is so important is highlighted by this tweet, which I just found this week regarding Chewy. And the gentleman is referencing 9.4 million fails to deliver on Chewy back on September 20th, and then focusing on the T+35 closeout date column and leading folks to believe that 9.4 million shares of Chewy will need to be bought out in the open market in late October. If we had the full screenshot here instead of one that is clipped, we would see the FTD Change column and know that those 9.4 million shares were resolved. They were delivered the very next date on the chart, September 23rd. So there is not going to be a 9.4 million T+35 date. With this very important update that Chart Exchange made, moving that far right column over right next to the fail to deliver column, now no matter who does the screen cap and posts it on social media, you can very easily see that those fails were resolved the very next reporting date on September 23rd. Hopefully this change by Chart Exchange helps some of you guys. If you see the FTDs changing and being resolved, then you know not to pay attention to any T+35 nonsense. If it's resolved, it's resolved. By whatever method you want to come up with, it was resolved. There's not going to be a T+35 date on those shares. If it's not resolved, then we have a different conversation, and you'll see that number in the far left-hand column continue to be reported on a daily basis. Remember that on that far left-hand column, the only number that matters is the most recent one in the top left corner. I can tell you from my own personal experience and my trades every day, FTDs is not something that I use. It has not proven over the years useful or reliable information on a day-to-day basis to use in any of my personal trading. You, of course, are free to ignore this video, ignore the SEC website, ignore the data, and do whatever you'd like. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to talk to the ones who actually want to learn. Always remember, guys, do your own due diligence. Don't just go by information that you get on social media. And in that light, I'm going to, again, remind you that I'm putting the links to the SEC website in the video description for you to go read up on it yourself. If you've never done that, I'd highly recommend that you do that. That website is where all of the Chart Exchange data is coming from. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't trust the data, and a lot of you are listening to people that tell you don't trust the data, and maybe you don't trust the data. That's fine with me. You can make your own choices. All I'm going to ask you to think about over the last 3 years or so since we've all been together is, has that belief system made you money on a day-to-day basis, or are you down 90%? Reflect on that answer and then decide what you want to do going forward. Thank you for watching all the way through. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. I love to hear from you guys. I am Tony Denaro, and I will see ya on the next video.